Welcome back to Touring the AFC South. I am your host, Mike Patton. You know, everyone wants to be number one, but only a few get to be number one. My next guest achieved a level of recognition fans can only dream of. He was named the number one fan in the NFL. Yes, the whole NFL. And he is a fan of the Tennessee Titans. Here to talk a little Titans and AFC South football. Welcome, Brandon Galloway, to the show. How you doing?
I'm good, Mike. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you tell, just first off, can you tell everyone how you became a Titans fan?
Wow. Growing up in Memphis, man, I really wasn't even a big football fan back when I was super young. It took me a while to get into football, but once I did, I was pretty hooked. That run to the Super Bowl that year, that first year they were in Nashville, just a special time, special team. And I knew then that I was going to get hooked with football. The Titans were my team, obviously, because I was, in Memphis, and we were all cheering for the Titans while we went down the field and came up a yard short. So, that's kind of how it started, and then it kind of just progressed from there.
Okay, so, of course, not everyone knows, but how did the contest come about, and what made you enter it?
Wow. So each team, it was the first time they did it. And, last year during COVID, there were, at one point at the beginning of the season, they didn't even think they were going to have fans at all. In fact, the Titans announced at the beginning that, that they weren't going to do fans at all. So, they had this fan of the year, and I think it was a perfect time for them to do it to kind of show love back to the fans and let them know just how important they are to the game. Every team had their own fan of the year. The Titans sent out this email, and they send out all type of stuff to season ticket members and to fans that sign up for their newsletters or promotions or whatever. So I just thought this was just another one of those things. So I signed up for it. Fan of the year, I'd never heard it before, and they were saying you can nominate somebody or put your own flag in there just to see what happens. And I just did it, didn't really think anything of it, man. And then before you know it, my season ticket rep, they called me and was like, hey, you want to do this show on Wednesday, the Blitz? So I'm like, sure, I'll do it. I've done it before, except this time it was going to be virtual, of course. So they said they want you to play a game, a trivia game or whatever. And I was like, okay, I will do that too, no problem. So got on the show, man, and they was like, and it was Lance Smith, the hype man at the games, and Eddie George. Of course, everybody knows future Hall of Famer Eddie George. But they called me up and it was like, hey man, we lied to you. You're the fan of the year, first ever Titans fan of the year, and I was just still, even today, I really can't believe it. So that's kind of how it started.
Now, you got to go to the last Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. How was it when it was announced that you were the winner of the number one fan contest? And of course, if you want to share, what all happened and what all came with that, you can as well.
So, when they don't really tell you much at the beginning, right? They tell you, what you can win or whatever. What I guess how they determined whether or not you were going to be like a finalist. The finalists went to the Super Bowl last year. So you have to send in this video, like a 2-minute video about yourself and why you feel like you should be named fan of the year. But one of the things that I've done in the past is these little small movies. So, I work with kids a lot, man. So when I did special trips with them or whatever, I'll always come back, try to put like a little video or movie together about our trips. So that was just a great opportunity. I had plenty of practice to put together a little movie of, some of the kids that I had worked with, and some of them were gracious enough to, provide a small video of just, kind of our relationship and things like that. I put it together, sent it in, and I was like, well, here's my shot. So, we'll go for it. And before you know it, that video got onto the NFL Network, and they had me doing interviews in the NFL Network, and all over the radio, all over town on radio and news stations and things of that such. So I knew something was up, but they wanted me to have I forget what they told me it was. Even I knew something was up because they're not very good liars. The Titans, it's tough for them to hide stuff. So when they told me I was going to be doing some type of a video session with somebody, I knew something was up. But it was like on a random Wednesday. It was like, hey, can you jump on this Zoom call real quick? And I jump on the Zoom call, and there go Kevin Byard, the best safety in the NFL, by the way. And he pretty much just told me, hey, I appreciate everything that you're doing, and I got a couple surprises for you. And the biggest thing was the Super Bowl. So I just, again, the Super Bowl tickets cost so much money. Like you would think, the Super Bowl was so out of my realm of possibilities, but ended up going to the Super Bowl, man. And I knew before I went to the Super Bowl that I had won the whole thing. So they brought me down. Another thing they was trying to tell me, just they were trying to tell me something, that really wasn't true. So I was like, they told me we want you to come down for a photo shoot to the stadium, that is. And I'm like, I'm not one to do photo shoots, but I'll do whatever y'all want me to do, But I knew something was up, man. And then before you know it, they were like, well, we're going to send a car to pick you up. So you don't have to drive down here. We're going to send somebody to pick you up. You just kind of be ready, have your jersey on. So, and I had two of my friends. They said I can invite a couple of my friends. So I had a couple of my friends show up, and they sent this decked out van out to my house in Clarksville to pick us up and take us down to the stadium. And they gave us a private tour of the stadium. I was able to hold like T-Rex sword and go through new friend of mine, Mike Keith, was able to go kind of where he sits and calls the games and stuff like that, and to the locker room. And of course, it was a legit photo shoot. And then they brought us out to the field, and on the video board, they had a lot of people say a lot of great things, from the owner, Amy Adams-Strunk, to J. Rob, the GM, Coach Vrabel, a couple of the players, Taylor Lewan, and then my wife was on the video. I had a couple of my boys that I worked with on the video, and then Amy was the one who broke the news that I had won the whole thing. So that was just, again, something pretty crazy.
Man, it sounds like a whirlwind, definitely.
Yeah, it was.
Of course, now that we talked about the number one fan contest that you won, by the way, you are the reigning number one fan. For anyone that's listening, Brandon Galloway, Clarksville, Tennessee, number one fan, reigning number one fan in the NFL. But let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about the team, actually, that you root for, of course, the Tennessee Titans. They won 20-0 this weekend over the Jacksonville Jaguars. What did you take from this win for them?
Not much. The Titans, well, number one, we needed to see them bounce back. We had two rough games. The Texans, which I'm still pretty upset about. One, they had me out there just getting rained on just the entire day. And, we just did not play well. And then, of course, that Patriots game where all the wheels kind of fell off in the second half on us. But the Jacksonville game was a good bounce back game. It was good to see them come back, get pressure on the quarterback, create turnovers, Tannehill protecting the ball, us using playing off our run game, playing our style of ball, and it wasn't pretty. It ain't, and with the Titans, it's never been pretty. But it was good to kind of just see us get back to doing what we do, which is protecting the ball and playing good defense. That's been our formula this year.
Now, as people come back, like for this instance in this game, you had Julio come back, you had Evans come back, you had Nate Davis come back. More players will be scheduled to come back as the season goes on, and as we near the playoffs, and especially a certain running back. Now, do you think the confidence, is your confidence growing in this team as the weeks go by in terms of as you see people coming back each week? And do you think all the pieces can form and fit each other, form and fit the team when the time comes, of course, for the playoffs and to make that push for the Super Bowl?
So, I'm very confident in the team, especially when they're fully healthy. So it's good. It'll be good to see guys come back and good to see guys get back out there and contribute. Of course, everybody's kind of waiting on news about the big guy, 22, Derrick Henry. And we're all kind of, he's the motor, the engine that makes this whole thing go. So we're really excited to hear some of that news that we got over the weekend, that he could be looking at coming back sooner rather than later. But at the end of the day, for the Titans, we had Derrick Henry last year in the playoffs, and the Ravens shut him down, and we couldn't really do much with the ball. We turned the ball over late, and they won the game. So, we have to stick to what we do, and do it well. And it starts really this year. To be honest, even when Derrick was out there this year, our team has fed off our defense. Whenever our defense comes to play, it has been different, and that's a little different from what we've seen these past couple of years. We've seen the running game and the offense scoring 30 points a game and really kind of controlling everything, but the defense has been the liability. But this year, the defense has really set the tone, and they did on Sunday. So they set the tone in the LA game. They set the tone against Kansas City. Only giving up 3 points to them, and then came up with a big stop against the Bills. So we have to play that style of ball. We can't get pretty. It's an ugly game with the Titans, and I think as long as we can kind of do that, we'll be fine. But we need our guys back. We need our guys back, and we need to be playing good ball at the right time.
That's right. That's right. You definitely want to definitely hit your stride when the playoffs are coming along. Now, of course, we do have to talk about the team that the Titans played Sunday, and that would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, in light of what all came, talk about Urban Meyer and their performance versus the Titans on Sunday, do you see him wanting to come back even if Khan doesn't fire him?
I think he'll come back because the money is going to be good. He won't walk away from the money. Let me just say that. I don't think, with everything that's going on with Urban Meyer and all the reports and the whole circus that is Urban Meyer, I don't see another college team really taking. I think if he lost this job, the only job he'll probably get from this point forward would be a college job, because I don't see him going to be like a coordinator for anybody at this point. He's definitely a head coach, so he wants to be the top man in charge. I don't necessarily think that. I think he can be. I think he could turn some stuff around in Jacksonville if he can just get out his own way. Because I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think anybody would say that Urban is a bad coach. He just do some crazy stuff, And I think at some point, the accountability, he has to be more accountable to himself. Like, you can't. It's one thing to go in college, right? Because they're students and they're kids and they're trying to learn, and while they're young men, they're students. So that's one thing. But when you get in the NFL, these grown men, these are dudes trying to live and trying to pay, put food on the table. So I don't think this stuff is not going to fly with them. So I think he's going to have to get to a place where he's more accountable to them, and take it back to what it's supposed to be about, because it's really just supposed to be about football. And if he can get rid of all this other crap that he's doing, and make it about the game, he can. I really do think he can help the Jaguars. But as far as I'm concerned, as a Titans fan, I hope they keep him around forever, because as long as they keep him around, it looks like it's a mess. But it was a mess with the throw coach there too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, definitely if he's not winning, he's catching headlines. I definitely can say that.
Oh yeah.
Now let's leave Jacksonville and head to Indianapolis. Of course, the Colts are making a surge for the playoffs behind Jonathan Taylor. Of course, everyone's dubbing him the best back in the NFL now since Derrick Henry has been gone. They're playing mistake-free football from Carson Wentz, and the defense, of course, is doing what they usually do. Do you think they can keep that momentum going and make the playoffs? And do you think they're the most dangerous teams if they make the playoffs?
I do not think they're a very dangerous team. I think that first of all, Jonathan Taylor is a very, very good football player. Very, very good football player. He, from the run blocker, he's a better run blocker. A better pass blocker than Derrick Henry is. He's a good receiver at the backfield. They do a lot of things with him, put him in a lot of different situations. But the Colts, their wild card is going to be Carson Wentz, and I just don't think Carson Wentz is that good. So for me, I can see them, maybe getting into the playoffs. I still think it'll be 50-50 for them, I feel like. But, I don't think that they're going to be very good. But I will tell you this. There is no team I hate more in the NFL than the Colts. I hate the Colts. I hate them. there is no team I hate more than the Indianapolis Colts. So, I hope they lose every game going forward, even though it'll be interesting talking to some Titans fans because, they play the Patriots this week. And if they beat the Patriots and the Titans go into Pittsburgh and beat them, which they better for my health, then the Titans will take over the number 1 seed in the AFC. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because if the Colts lose to the Patriots and the Titans beat the Steelers, then the Titans win the division on Sunday. So, if the Titans win, depending on what happens in that game, something good can come from it. But, I mean, the Colts, they are who they are. We've beaten them twice. The second time Derrick Henry was hurt, and we still beat him. Carson Wentz threw us the ball on our own, just threw us the touchdown. And we didn't play that well defensively that game either. So I think we could probably handle the Colts. I think right now, the team I'm most worried about in the AFC, to be completely honest, right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. It is not because of Patrick Mahomes. It is because they're playing good defense and they are running the football. And when you have those type of weapons on your team and you're willing still to run the football and play defense, then you can be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. That team is one to watch for. And ever since they've acquired Melvin Ingram, they're undefeated, which a lot of people don't know that either. Let's, of course, lastly, but certainly not least, we do have to talk about Houston. Where do we begin? Let's see. We have Davis Mills. They drafted him with their first pick they had in the 3rd round was the first pick they had, which is another, interesting story in itself. But he started. They replaced Tyrod Taylor with him, and they're going to try to see what he's got and see if he can play, things like that. Do you see them potentially continuing with Davis Mills next year, or do you see them drafting a quarterback and admitting that this pick was just a bad pick?
Yeah, they'll draft a quarterback, and the coach, NFL coaches kill me sometimes, because I think the coach said after that or before they named him the starter that he gives them the best chance to win. Well, they've only won 2 games this season. One of them are Titans, of course, but Tyrod Taylor started both of those games. So I don't understand how Davis Mills gives you the best chance to win if he ain't won. I mean, he's not won a game, so I'm not sure how he gives them the best chance to win. But they're tanking. They want to lose. They want to put the worst quarterback out there so they can get their draft pick. They will absolutely select a quarterback in the draft. The problem is this quarterback draft is not a quarterback-friendly draft. They will be better off going after one of the linemen, one of the D linemen that's coming out, and maybe trying to bring another solid quarterback in. David Carr might be on the market next year. I mean, they may swing for like a Russell Wilson, and they're not getting Aaron Rodgers, but he may be a wild card coming out of Green Bay. They may try to swing for one of them, but I don't think this year's the right year to be taking at least for a quarterback, but they're absolutely tanking. They're absolutely tanking.
I'll say this. I don't know if they'll get David Carr, but I know Derek Carr will be there because David Carr don't want any more parts of that.
Right.
I mean, he was seeing shadows when he was dropping back a lot.
That's very true. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And part of that was due to the Titans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, finally, I'm going to ask you one more Titans question. Well, one more in addition to the last. Well, a couple more.
Okay.
The Titans go to the Super Bowl if they do what?
Wow. They need to get healthy, and they need to play their best football. And the wild card will be the guy who touches the ball every play, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. So good quarterback play and getting healthy. Definitely
He
two big
is
keys.
going. Yes, he's gonna have to. He's gonna really have to step up, because if not, it could get. He's gonna have to do something a little bit more. Even now, even Sunday's game, like the offense was rather pedestrian. And I get it. Like it's the Jaguars. Let's play good defense, run the ball, score, don't turn the ball over, get out of there. But when we start playing these really good teams, he's gonna have to keep us on the field with his arm.
Gotcha. Now, we're going to play a little game real quick. I'm going to give you two choices. You got to pick one.
Okay.
And they're both going to be Titans players, and they're going to be players at the same position, but maybe different eras. So,
gracious.
You ready?
I see where this is going. Yeah.
All right. The first one up, Blaine Bishop or Kevin Byard?
Kevin Byard.
Kevin Byard. Okay.
I prefer. Well, let me just say this. I prefer the ball hawk over the hard hitter. So Blaine was a hitman. He was a down safety. He played the run and everything. But I would prefer somebody who can go get me a turnover and get me a pick six.
Gotcha. Okay. A.J. Brown or Derrick Mason?
This is not an easy choice. I'm going to say AJ from the standpoint that he's the home run hitter. He can get you a 7-yard stand and take it to the distance. And he has done that. Longevity, boy, healthy, durable, all that stuff really favors Derrick Mason. But he was never considered to be like a home run threat. And I think I would prefer the big receiver who can still make all the route. Derrick Mason was a much better route runner than AJ is, but I would probably still take the long the home run threat that AJ brings.
Okay, we've got this one. We're diving into the running backs. Derrick Henry or Chris Johnson? See, you're taking time to think on that one.
Yeah, Chris Johnson, man. You talking about somebody who just I'm taking Derrick Henry though. So I mean, I'm taking the big guy because Derrick can also break off a 90-yard run, and he can do it stiff arming people halfway down the field. So and we've seen it in big games. So and as good as Chris Johnson was, one of the things that we really did not see out of Chris Johnson was a real playoff statement from a Chris Johnson. He was really good during the regular season. There one year we went to the playoffs with him against Baltimore. We got beaten that first round where they bent him halfway backwards. It just pisses me off just thinking about it. But I remember the game all the way back then when they did that to him, and really, I think they injured him in the second quarter where he even couldn't play the second half. But for that, I will take Derrick. I think Derrick has been just a consistent guy. We did see a very real drop of production after Chris Johnson got his big payday. We can't say that for Derrick. Obviously, he got his injury, but really before the end, he would have eclipsed 2,000. He probably will have over 2,000 yards right now. How these teams are running over these teams right now. So I'm taking the big guy.
All right. Let's see. Delaney Walker or Frank Wycheck?
Oh. See, these are tough, right? Because we're talking about two different eras. So
right.
When you start talking about like Eddie George and Frank and all them guys, like I was a kid watching them play. Whereas, Delaney, Frank was something different out there. And I would probably still have a slight edge toward Delaney.
Gotcha.
I don't even really know why. I don't even know why. But I'm gonna say I think Frank Wycheck was slightly a better blocker than Delaney Walker was. He can get open, he can catch the ball. But Delaney was definitely a little bit more explosive than Frank was.
Gotcha. Okay, and our last one, Albert Haynesworth or Jeffrey Simmons?
I don't care what nobody says. If Albert Haynesworth would have stayed with the Titans, he would be in the Hall of Fame. I do not care what nobody says. I am taking Albert Haynesworth.
All right.
That year, that 13-3 year, where Kerry Collins, I think it was 2008, that year where Kerry Collins took over for Vince Young when he went through his little mental health deal or whatever. Albert Haynesworth, he was something, man. He was something on that football field. And while Jeff is really, really good and a star of his own, I think he's the second best interior D lineman under Aaron Donald. And I think that Jeff will keep getting better. But that crew with Haynesworth was, I mean, it was crazy. I think this team is still kind of led by Derrick Henry, whereas I feel like that team was led by Albert Haynesworth. He just left them to get $100 million, and they stuck him in their own system. I said Haynesworth, he left Tennessee to go get $100 million from the Redskins back when they were named the Redskins, and that worked out horribly because he was put in the system that did not suit his strengths, which is why we need to give Derrick Henry a lot of credit, because when he was going through his contract negotiations with Tennessee, he at least had enough sense to know this system is best suited for my strengths. So while I may be getting lesser money than what I want, I'm gonna have my production and and possibly a second or third contract after this one, because this system is catered to my strengths. And Albert Haynesworth was just looking for money. He never was the same player.
I hear you there. Well, thank you for coming on the show. If you want to let everyone know where they can find you, if you have anything going on or whatever you want to talk about, man, the floor is yours.
I'm just going to tell them tighten up. And I am on Twitter at BG901. The thoughts of my own. I am very critical of my teams, so I am not as much love as the Titans have given me. I am very critical of them when things don't look right on the field. So and fans give me a lot of flack about that. So, but man, I feel like I'm a nice guy. I'm real easy to talk to at BG901 on Twitter and Brandon Galloway on Facebook.
Well, thank you for coming on, and definitely, if he's not critical of the Titans, he's definitely critical of the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA.
Ooh, so that's a whole other discussion now. That's a whole other discussion, and we could really talk about them.
Yeah, I definitely know you probably could talk for days on them. But thank you for coming on, and you all have been watching and listening to Touring the AFC South with your host Mike Patton. We're out.
Thanks, Mike.